with a new approach to data, creating it, capturing it, using it, profiting off of it. Significant new opportunities that aren't even possible now can be unlocked by businesses that get ahead of the curve. To me, that sounds like an initiative that should come out of a CXO, right? That's again, another consulting phrase I don't like, but transformation. This is a transformative initiative. It should come from the C-suite. Now, just because it comes from the C-suite doesn't necessarily mean that it's not adding like real value to all the other parts of the organization. If we think about a really successful cookieless world planning initiative, the IT organization actually gets a ton of win here, right? Historically, ad tech and martech initiatives tend to outpace the delivery cycles of an IT organization. Marketing buys something, they want it set up next week. IT's got their capacity plan for the next 6 months. Friction, right? And that often leads to half-assed, what we would kind of call, I don't know, again, not enterprise level executed work. And IT's not happy with it. It's liable to break. We would call it hot fix. There, I remember the phrase. And all that hot fix work just really equals creating problems in the future, right? A first party data initiative or a cookieless world initiative that IT participates in that meets their requirements means they're actually going to be able to go back in and future-proof their existing data infrastructure. Data can now be created properly against a specification that's been documented. Data can be passed through into a business in a way that can be governed, that won't break. Systems can be created that allow marketing to operate on their kind of cadence while allowing IT to meet their demand for rigor and quality, right? So there's a huge win for IT in moving towards planning for a cookieless world. Now, their effort requirement is going to be medium to high. There's a lot of work in there for them. But just because the C-suite owns it doesn't mean IT doesn't win, right? Same thing applies to the data organization inside a business, and it could be called the marketing analytics org. It could be called, the database organization, the BI team, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But most medium to large enterprises have a team somewhere that owns data on purpose. It tends to not be digital data, ironically, but they will get significant win out of a project to prepare for a cookieless world, right? The successful initiative for cookieless world is actually kind of data and tool and stack agnostic. The goal is to create high quality usable data, bring it into the business where it can be owned and used. Data teams love that kind of stuff, especially because they tend to be building schema and structure around everything else, from call center to logistics to fulfillment to offline marketing, and digital is often somewhere else, right? It's going to help them bring all those things together and help almost build a data layer for the business. They get a significant win out of this kind of initiative. They also need to step up to the plate with some effort and some requirements, but they get wins here too. And obviously, this is good ham abounds for the entire business user part of the organization, right? So these are the people that do marketing, the people in charge of email, the people who are doing reporting and analysis on digital performance. Instead of going to a world where all the lights go off with no cookies, by preparing in advance for those things to happen, reporting can stay going, marketing campaigns can continue to run, and it's also a great opportunity for the business users to look at some of the deficiencies in their part of the organization right now and remediate them, right? So we're having issues with training. Well, let's make training one of the requirements for our cookieless world programs, right? There's certain areas of the data we're creating that we don't trust because accuracy. Let's sort those things out now, right? So as you can see, a successful data project, even though the most explicit value proposition is to the executive team or the C-suite, there are very strong implicit kind of secondary wins or value propositions that reflect other key parts of the organization, all of whom are going to have to contribute effort.